All right, here we go. It's great to have you here on the Bicoastal Baseball Podcast, exclusively on the Grid Network. I'm Mike Guido. That is Dalton Brown. It is great to have you here on a wonderful Monday evening. We're back on the normal schedule, Dalton. Actually, not really. We're actually starting early today, so we're still not quite there, but we're getting closer. How you feeling today, my friend?
I'm feeling good. I'm really excited for today. We're going to do some fun stuff today, like, drafting these teams, talking through awards, staking our claim on, who's going to go to the playoffs and do what. This is like the ultimate season preview show. So, and part of the reason for that is I'm not available next week. So, today is it, man. And then the next time you and I do one of these, we'll be recapping some actual baseball that's been played and talking through, what we're already observing. So it's an exciting time.
It's awesome. It really is something else. I'm super excited about it. As you said before, I mean, we are going to be doing, something a little different. So a little later on tonight, we'll do a team draft where Dalton and I will each pick teams. We'll each alternate picks, and it's going to be something that we keep track of throughout the year. And whoever comes out with the most wins ends up winning something. We'll make some sort of incentive. Somebody's got to, put a tattoo on their ass or something like some stupid whatever.
Well,
it won't be that, but it'll be something else. So we'll do that a little bit later. We'll be making our predictions, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, playoff predictions, all of that stuff. That's going to be coming up on today's show. Plus, we have a little bit of hot corner today. The MLB preseason super show is what I believe I called it in the title. So let's waste no time, Dalton. Let's make some predictions. I want to start with awards because I think awards kind of potentially lead into some team success. So let's touch on that first. Let's start with our Rookie of the Year predictions. Now, I feel like mine are fairly cut and dry. I didn't pick, so I looked at the betting favorites. I didn't pick the betting favorite in either league. But I'm interested to hear who you have because yours are always way more interesting than mine. So what do you think? Rookie of the Year, American League, National League. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so in the American League, I agree with the betting favorite, and that's who I'm going to go with, which is Trey Savage. Look, I think what he proved last year in the postseason run for the Blue Jays is something that should be sustainable for them. There are obviously concerns about him throwing strikes, and I think the league will adjust as they get, a little bit more film on him, if you will. But I think for this year, he's going to be a cog in that rotation. He'll be in the, he'll be starting every time through. Some concern for me on whether they'll restrict his innings, but I don't think they'll restrict his innings so much that it'll keep him out of that conversation. So, to me, Trey Savage, if what we saw from him last October is real, and he's, a top 20 pitcher in the American League, a top 20 starter in the American League, that's a guy who probably wins the Cy Young, or excuse me, not the Cy Young. That's a guy who probably wins the Rookie of the Year award. So, plenty of other names to go through. I'm sure you've got a good one here as well, but that's my first instinct would be a Savage.
Yeah, Savage was the guy who I thought was the safest bet for American League Rookie of the Year. Obviously, he's the betting favorite. As I'm looking at it right now on BetMGM, it's plus 450 for him. I am rolling the dice here with Munetaka Murakami. I think that there's a chance where, like, we could look back, and if he hits something like 35 bombs and has an OPS over 800, like, there's going to be a real conversation there to be had. Again, on a team like the White Sox, I think the runs produced are going to be hard to come by, but I also think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. He's going to get a lot of at-bats. And I think in that environment, I think he could really thrive if all clicks, right? If his bat to ball gets a little bit better, if that raw power really just does translate, I think you could be looking at a serious power threat in the American League. So Munetaka Murakami is my pick. Now, Dalton, I'm usually privy to you throwing out maybe some like not the favorite, but some pretty good value bets as far as this. Do you have any like like real good value bets for American League Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, two names that pop out to me are Tatsuya Imai and Kazuma Okamoto. And especially Okamoto, because he's going to be right in the middle of a really good lineup in Toronto, so he's going to have a lot of opportunities to produce runs. You can get him 9-1 right now at DraftKings. That makes him the 6th most likely to win the award. Behind guys like McGonigal, Jensen, Murakami, and Imai. But with Okamoto, I don't think his game's going to take long to translate. Like, this guy's been a pro for quite a while, and he's looked good in spring training, and he's kind of just going to be what he's going to be. And in that lineup, he's not going to have a lot of pressure. So I think there's some value with him at 9-1. Imai at 8-1 potentially as well in the Astros rotation. But I don't love the ballpark there. It's a little concerning to me.
Yeah, no, it certainly is interesting. So we touched on, by the way, all 3 major Japanese imports as far as Rookie of the Year candidates, which is certainly a possibility. I know there were some people. I know a lot of people are looking at Travis Bazzana also. I don't know that I would go that far with him yet. And a lot of people like Kevin McGonigal with the Tigers. I know that's really the case, depending on when he comes up or if he makes the team or whatever. All right, let's go to the National League. The favorite is obviously Connor Griffin. He was not my pick, but Dalton, what am I crazy for not thinking so, or is like Connor Griffin the runaway guy to go get right now?
Well, certainly from an odds perspective at plus 200, he's not just the favorite, but the clear favorite. And anybody who's watched him hit in spring training knows why. He looks like a pretty special player. So, if you're just asking me who I think point blank has the best chance of winning the award, he's going to be my pick. I think Nolan McLean is worth looking at too, though. Like, he had an ERA around 2 down the stretch for the Mets last year in limited exposure. Similar story to Savage, where now he's going to be anchoring that rotation. He's going to be getting the ball every 5 days. And, I don't think the league has seen enough of him yet to figure him out. And so, again, like, he's going to be on a winning team. You and I like to bag on the Mets, but like, they're not going to be a 70-win team. Right. So he's going to be in a good situation where he'll be able to stack up some wins if he's pitching well. And I think he'll be right there as well.
Yeah, no, that was actually my pick. My pick was going to be Nolan McLean. I was actually going to throw the Mets a bone here and say that they were going to have the National League Rookie of the Year. They do really well with young pitchers. So it would not surprise me if Nolan McLean turned out to be a stud. If we're talking about him at the end of the season as a potential ace type pitcher, he really did show that at the end of last year. So I do think that because we've seen it already, I feel like I feel a little bit more comfortable throwing out Nolan McLean there than Connor Griffin, regardless of the prospect prowess and what you see based on, in his minor league career and in spring training. Certainly he's got a great career ahead of him. What about on the National League side, Dalton? Is there anybody that gives you a little bit of value that that might be a little bit of an under the radar pick?
I mean, one name that's kind of interesting to me is Andrew Painter. Just because, I mean, he's 30-1, so it's a little bit of a long shot. But I mean, as I understand it, I think he's likely to start the season in the rotation for Philly. And so, if he starts the season in the rotation and he pitches well enough that as they get healthy in the rotation, they say, "Oh, we got to keep him up there," then his argument becomes similar to Nolan McLean's, where it's like if you get a rookie who's racking up enough innings and strike, he could be a good look there as well. Some of these other guys, it's going to kind of depend on like the opportunity. One thing to note with Rookie of the Year too is, it's not that uncommon for it to be given to a guy who doesn't get called up till May. Like, that can happen. It's not an award that requires a full 150 game starts.
Right. Yeah. So it is interesting. And to be honest, I think you and I can both agree that, like, when we predict Rookie of the Year, this is like throwing darts. This is as much of throwing darts as it could possibly be, so it's interesting because I forget who our predictions were last year, but I think you and I were both fairly far off when it came to.
I think I had Cam Smith and Roki Sasaki or something. So,
I think I had Roki Sasaki too, and I forget who I had in the American League. I might have even said Jason Dominguez. I don't even remember, but so pretty far off in those respects. Let's move to the Cy Young Award. Let's start in the American League. I think a lot of people look at this like pretty clear cut because I think, and honestly, maybe not, but maybe like a two or, maybe a 2-horse race in the American League. Um, I, I'm interested to hear what you think. Mine's a doozy. So I'm interested to hear what you say.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet are going to be at the top
Yeah.
of that list.
Yeah.
Now there are other names worth watching. When I look at it from a betting perspective, Garrett Cole at 60-1 sticks out like a sore thumb. Like that's a crazy number to offer with him, given what he can be when he's at his best.
Mhm.
Reminds me a little bit, Mike, of what we got with Chris Sale a couple years ago, where I gave him out on the show at 50-1 and he ended up winning it.
Yeah,
Like,
right. There you
it
go.
kind of reminds me of that a little bit, where it's like,
Uh-huh.
are we forgetting how good this guy is? Like 60-1 is crazy. So that's a name that interests me from that perspective. I mean, between Skubal and Crochet, I would lean toward giving it to Crochet in terms of what I think is most likely, just because we've seen that voters can get a little bit of fatigue with these awards. They don't like to give it to the same guy like over and over.
Yeah.
And so, to me, Crochet at plus 425 is a better value look than Skubal at plus 350.
Mhm.
I also some of these Mariners guys, like I could see Logan Gilbert or Brian Wu being decently valuable as well in that conversation. I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear this name you've got for me though.
Yeah. Originally, so I was thinking like Logan Gilbert was the guy I was looking at mostly. And the only thing that's really holding me back is um is the flood of that rotation, right?
Yeah.
Brian Wu is in that rotation as well. Same thing with Luis Castillo and George Kirby, and like they're loaded in that rotation. So I leaned away a little bit from Gilbert. Now, again, I looked at the odds, and it might not I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be like kind of way out there. It turns out it really isn't. I was thinking Jacob deGrom. I think Jacob deGrom still has plenty left in the tank. So if he can put together a season where he kind of reminds everybody how good he is, because even in the short stints that he's had in the past couple of years in Texas, he's been really, really good still. So I don't think that there's really anything falling off for him. I mean, obviously, I don't think he's the same pitcher as he was 7-8 years ago, but at this point, I mean, I think Jacob deGrom still has great stuff. He's going to be leading a rotation that's going to be, in contention for a wild card spot. So I think that's going to garner some attention.
And
I
they
really
pitch in
like
a cavernous ballpark where you can't hit.
You can't hit, right? Exactly. So I kind of like Jacob deGrom. I think that this could be a real year where Jacob deGrom kind of joins the conversation or rejoins the conversation of the top pitchers in baseball, and especially in the American League with Skubal and Crochet as well.
I would not be surprised at all. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah. I was stunned because I was just like, given the injuries, there's no way they're going to give him like very good odds. Again, I'm looking at it as on BetMGM right now, and it was updated a few days ago, but like he's the third favorite here behind Skubal and Crochet. He's plus 1,000.
Yeah.
On BetMGM. I thought it was going to be way more. Like I thought it was going to be like he was going to be like 15th. So interesting. Okay, National League. All right. This is my cut and dry list. What do you think here in the National League?
So the National League for me, there are two names that I think have a lot of value from a betting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And those are Yoshinobu Yamamoto at plus 650. And the other one is Christopher Sanchez at plus 800. And I think for me, if I were to be placing a bet here, I would bet Sanchez at 8-1. I think he's quietly like one of the top 6 or 7 pitchers in baseball. And especially watching what he did for Philly in the playoffs last year. I mean, he was in complete control against the Dodgers. Yeah. Like we couldn't touch that guy. So Christopher Sanchez has my attention at 8-1. The obvious like elephant in the room is Paul Skeens. He's plus 210. He's the clear favorite. But I mean, look, he just won the award. Pitchers don't stay healthy. Like I mean, Cy Young is a category where I'd rather take a shot than bet on the favorite in that way, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're asking me who's the most likely to win the award, it's probably still Skeens, but Sanchez at 8-1 is pretty intriguing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul Skeens was my pick. I mean, I just think, I think Paul Skeens is, I don't think he's as good as he can be yet. Like, I think we're still like he could still get better than what he is. And he's already one of the, he's already the first or second best pitcher in baseball. So,
like, you know what though? If you're writing, I don't know if you're writing down the picks anywhere, but if you are, I want you to actually write down for me Yoshinobu Yamamoto, because I can't go against him.
oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. So then let's let's change that then.
Give me Yama. I need Yama.
Yamamoto for Dalton. Okay. Who did you say in the American League again? I don't remember.
The American League, I said Crochet.
Okay. All right. So far we have not made a same prediction, by the way. Yamamoto, I honestly like, I know Yamamoto's the second favorite here, but I really think, like, you want to talk about good value. I think Yamamoto's, like, after what he did in the playoffs last year, like that established him, and he was already good, but that made him a stud.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to pick him for the purpose of our show. The reason that I think Sanchez is slightly better value than him overall is the Dodgers, I think, are going to be like cautious with Yamamoto from an innings perspective after how hard he worked through October and into November last year. Like, I think because of that, I think the Dodgers are going to probably, for example, pull him out of a game after 5 innings at 78 pitches, just because. I think there's going to be a lot of that with him this year.
Right. So listen, we'll see. So I've got Skeens. He's got Yamamoto. All right, let's move to MVP. American League. Should I just go first, or?
I mean, I already know who you're taking. I already know who you're.
You already know who I'm taking, but let's not break the trend. Who do you have in the American League? Who catches your eye?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge is going to be my pick for the show. And I also think Aaron Judge at plus 215 is worth a look. I mean, when he's healthy, like, he's shown that he is head and shoulders the best offensive player in the American League. And so, like, I don't mind a bet on him at plus 215 either. The other name that sticks out to me among that top list is Roman Anthony at 14-1. Like, I think he could be on the verge of a massive breakout. And maybe part of that is just what I've watched with him in the World Baseball Classic. But that kid is special. And, let's say, for example, God forbid Judge gets hurt or Judge just has a bit of a down year. He's the kind of guy that, like, we don't know what his ceiling is yet. And so it intrigues me at 14-1.
Yeah, no, it certainly Aaron Judge is my pick. I think Aaron Judge is the MVP of the American League until he's not. Like, that's really how I feel about the whole thing. That's how dominant he's been over the past several years. I also, like, I just have similar reason to what you see about Roman Anthony is what I see about Gunnar Henderson. Like, I think Gunnar Henderson could be some pretty good value there too. As just kind of like an underlying, like, he could just be a freaking monster this year. Can I tell you what I hate based on looking at this? And you and I might have different odds since we're looking at them, but Julio Rodriguez is apparently the 4th betting favorite to win MVP. I despise that.
He's showing as 9th for me, which I think is closer to accurate. But what I'm not understanding, like, so he's 17-1. I'm showing Jose Ramirez at 16-1. Jose Ramirez has a way better chance of winning that than Julio.
I agree.
Jose Ramirez has been ridiculous. I mean, he finishes like 3rd in it every year. I also think Junior Caminero at 20-1 is interesting. Like, I'm interested in these young guys who have shown flashes and could take another step.
Yeah, I think people, just because he plays for the Rays, I think people, like, really underestimate how good Junior Caminero is. That guy is unbelievable. Yeah. So I do like that. Bobby Witt Jr., I think you obviously have to give respect to as well in that category. Any interest, by the way, Dalton, in Nick Kurtz playing in a bouncy house of a ballpark, right? I mean, is there any interest you think there?
I mean, the numbers are going to have to be absurd because I think the A's are going to be better, but I don't think they're going to be great, right? But yeah, I mean, I could see it. Like he's already one of the scariest hitters in baseball when he comes up to hit. So yeah,
So
I don't
gross.
mind that at all.
Yeah. All right. National League. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. I kind of went, I don't want to say off the cuff because I don't think it's too far off the cuff. But I will tell you this. I did not pick Ohtani. For the interest of being a contrarian, I did not pick Ohtani. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
I mean, so here's the thing. In the American League, Judge not winning it is something that could happen for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for you with picking against Ohtani, and the reason he's minus 150 while Judge is plus 215 is Ohtani's both pitching and hitting, right?
Yeah, right.
So to me, if Ohtani simply stays healthy, it's going to be really hard for him to not win it.
Yeah.
Like, all he really, like, because let's say he stays healthy and he, let's say instead of hitting what he did the last couple of years, let's say he finishes with 40 homers and 105 RBIs, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say he, as a pitcher, pitches to like a 3.9. That is still the most valuable player in the league. And that's him regressing on both fronts significantly, right? So to me with Ohtani, like as long as he stays healthy, this is like the Shohei Ohtani Invitational Award.
I certainly agree.
Now, in a world where he doesn't stay healthy, I think it opens up to a lot of different players. I mean, to me at that point, like Soto at 11-1 probably gets my vote as the next person to look at. I think if you want to take a really long shot, I don't hate Jackson Chourio at 40-1. Like if he takes another step, that kid's special, and he's only 22.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's interesting. Because similar to how you were saying it, right? Do I think Ohtani is more than likely going to win the award? Probably. Like I'd be dumb to bet against that. However, for the fun of it, I just want to throw this out there. Elly De La Cruz intrigues me. If that dude, like, I'm just telling you right now, if that guy's OPS gets, like, if that guy's OPS can take the next leap, right? If that guy's OPS can get to upwards of around 900, and it's a lot to ask, I get that. But if he can get it up there, he swipes 50 bags, he hits 40 homers, like, there's going to be something there. I'm just saying, like that.
I mean, there's certainly something there for Elly De La Cruz. The problem for me is like, I took that long shot with him last year, and it just wasn't even close. I haven't seen it enough from him at the plate. Like I just haven't seen enough consistency to totally buy in yet. Whereas like there are some other guys here where I think like I don't know their ceiling confidently enough yet, and therefore I'm more willing to take the chance with them.
Right.
But if Elly De La Cruz, does take a step, the talent's insane, right? I mean, you're not like it wouldn't shock me by any means.
Yeah. Well, and again, I'm taking a shot here. I think there's a chance that this dude explodes, and you got to keep in mind too, like he's a baby. Elly De La Cruz is entering his age 24 season. Like the sky is the limit for that kid. So you got Ohtani and Judge. I've got Elly De La Cruz and Judge. I'm just, I'm throwing Elly De La Cruz a bone there. Whatever.
Yeah, why
not? All right. So we'll keep tabs on that. All right. As for playoff predictions, playoffs, standings, let's start in the American League, Dalton. We'll go back to the American League. How do you see the seeding playing out? What do you think happens in the American League right now?
Yeah, so the way I did this is I laid out my seeding, and then I laid out how I see the playoff matchups going.
Yep.
And I am kind of going back and forth on a lot of it, obviously. But if I'm guessing right now, I'm going to say the Mariners take the 1 seed. They're the team that I'm most confident wins their division in the American League. And so because of that, I'm going to give them the 1 seed.
Yep.
At the number 2, I went with the Toronto Blue Jays winning the AL East, partially because I know you're going to take the Yankees, and partially because I think the Blue Jays are really good. So give me the Blue Jays as my number 2 seed.
Okay.
The Detroit Tigers as my number 3 because that's going to be the 3rd division winner, and that division could go a number of different directions, but I think they're the most likely team to win it.
Yeah.
I've got the Yankees as the first wild card. I've got the Boston Red Sox as the second wild card, setting up another Yankees-Red Sox wild card series.
Yep.
And I've got the Astros sneaking in, still finding their
wow.
way into a wild card spot
Interesting.
right there at the end. Now, that's the one that I don't feel great about it. Like, I would consider Cleveland or Kansas City or Baltimore in that spot. I just don't quite see 4 AL East teams getting in. Like, I think there's going to be another team from somewhere. And Houston, I still think, has some degree of winning pedigree. From there, I see Detroit dispatching Houston in a wild card series. I see the Red Sox beating the Yankees in a wild card series. I'm sorry.
Ouch.
And then I've got the Red Sox over the Mariners in an upset.
Wow.
Yep. And then I'm going to take the Blue Jays over the Tigers. Okay.
Wow. Mega ouch. Jesus.
Sets us up with Blue Jays, Red Sox for the American League. I'm going to go Blue Jays. I just think that they seem to find something in October. So we're going to go Blue Jays out of the AL. It's not, I mean, look, this is not a super confident pick. I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants here.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We actually are fairly similar. I do have the Yankees as the 1 seed. I just think that when their pitching gets healthy, like, I think they're going to have one, if not 2 best offenses in the American League. And I think when their pitching gets healthy, I think they're going to be up there too. So I have the Yankees as the 1, the Mariners as the 2, Detroit as the 3. That seems to be pretty self-explanatory to me as those 2 division winners at this point. The Blue Jays are my 4. The Red Sox are my 5. And I have the Kansas City Royals sneaking it in at 6. Tigers will take care of the Royals. I think the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays in the wild card series. So it's Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners, Tigers in the ALDS. I think the Yankees beat the Red Sox. I think the Mariners beat the Tigers. Yankees, Mariners in the ALCS. Yankees go to the World Series. Did you expect anything less?
No. No. I mean, I respect it. You don't have the heart to pick against the Yankees. I understand that. And I respect it.
No, listen, but I also think that, like, when it all comes together, I still think the Yankees are probably, in my mind, the top team in the American League. Yeah. I still think, like, given health and given what their roster projects to be, I still think the Yankees are probably the best team in the American League. And especially if their pitching is healthy in the playoffs, I think that's going to be tough to get through, just like it is with Boston, just like it is with Seattle, just like it is with Detroit. You know, the way that we look at those rotations, I think the Yankees are going to be right up there with those guys too, with a better offense.
Pitching health is the name of the game for the Yankees and for almost everybody. So, right. Yeah.
All right. National League, what do you got?
Yeah, in the National League, I'm going to go with the Dodgers as the number 1 seed. No big surprise there.
Yep.
I'm going with the Cubs as the number 2 seed because I think the teams in the NL East have potential to kind of beat each other up a little bit.
Yep.
And I feel really confident in what the Cubs are this year. So I'm going to go the Cubs as the number 2 seed. I'll go Phillies in that 3rd spot. Still think they're the team that I'm most confident in the winning division. Now, I've had some changes in how I think about things beyond this. I am going to put the Mets in there in that 4th spot in that first wild card.
Interesting. Wow.
The vibes are not great with the Braves right now. And it's kind of pushing me off them a little bit, like between this Profar stuff, and I'm not as confident in their pitching the more and more I think about it. Like if those guys can't stay healthy, it gets thin really quick. And they already have some injuries with Schwellenbach, right?
Right.
So I'm taking the Mets in that 4th spot. I'm going to go the Brewers in the 5th spot. I just think that this team organizationally knows how to win, and there's still a good amount there to help them do that. And then that 6th and final wild card spot, a bunch of different directions I could have gone here. I'm going to go with Arizona. And it's just a gut feeling. I just think Arizona, I think there's going to be a little bit of a yo-yo effect for them, 2023, 24, 25, kind of go like this little back and forth.
Sure.
I just think them bringing back Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, like it keeps this rotation in a place where it can at least keep them above water. And if Corbin Burns can come back and contribute the way they hope he can, then all of a sudden this becomes a good rotation. And I know they're going to score.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So how do you see it playing out?
Sorry, give me a second. My dog is barking.
Oh boy!
Here, I'll go through it for you. Yeah, I'll go through it for you. So we got in the wild card series. I'm taking Philly over Arizona. Arizona's a great story. They get in. That's awesome. I don't see them beating Philly. I'll go Mets over Brewers. I just think there's a little more firepower in that lineup. And as much as the Brewers pitching might be better there, the Mets took Freddie Peralta from them. And, I think the Mets will come out there. I think the Dodgers will get past the Mets. I am going to take the Cubs to get past the Phillies. I think the Cubs are building something pretty real there. In the interest of not having the same World Series as it was last year, I'm going to go Cubs Blue Jays in the World Series.
Interesting. So both teams. Okay. So the team that lost Kyle Tucker and then the team that lost out on Kyle Tucker go to the World Series over the team that got Kyle Tucker.
I mean, look, if you're asking me who's the most likely team to come out of the National League, it's very obviously the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
But for the interest of, I'm part of what I'm planting my flag in with you is like, Mike, this is baseball. Like no matter how good you think the Dodgers are, at best, they have a 50 to 60% chance of making the World Series and a 30% chance of winning it.
Okay.
So I'm planting my flag in that and saying, you know what, Mike? Let's throw the Cubs a bone. Let's
you,
Blue Jays in the World Series.
Right. All right. Dodgers very clearly the one for me. I just threw my pen across the room. Oh my God. Now I have to bend. Oh, here we go. Sorry. All right. Dodgers very clearly the one. I agree with you on the Cubs at 2. I think the Cubs are going to be the 2 seed there. I think as far as them offensively, I think they're super, super complete. If they can find a way to, keep that pitching healthy, again, that's what we keep harping on. That I think is going to be a pretty solid rotation as well. The Phillies are the 3. I guess I picked the Brewers as the 4 seed just because, okay, like I think that's just what they do. I don't even think the Brewers are that good, but the Brewers find a way to win games anyway. So I do think that they're going to be the 4. I'm still kind of betting on the Padres to make the playoffs. I still think the Padres are a capable team. Again, I think that rotation is something to be concerned about, right? Obviously, Michael King at the top. You're looking at guys like Joe Musgrove coming off an injury, Nick Pivetta coming off a career year. Like, what are we going to get out of those guys? But their bullpen's insane. They can shorten games as good as any team in baseball, really. And I do think they're going to hit a little bit. So I still have faith in the Padres. And I'm with you. I think the Mets sneak in. I was really wrestling here. I was honestly wrestling between the Braves and the Mets, but I'm agreeing with you in the sense that I just think the Mets are a little bit like I don't even want to say they're put together better right now, but I do think that there's a little bit of a charge in that franchise after not making the playoffs last year. So I think there's going to be a little bit of that extra sense of urgency for the Mets as well to make the playoffs. I think the Phillies beat the Mets. I think that's where their run ends. So the Phillies beat the Mets as the 3 seed. They go to play the Cubs. I think the Padres beat the Brewers in the wild card series. The Padres will play the Dodgers. Dodgers will walk the Padres in the NLDS. That I don't even like that. That'll be a 3-game sweep. I don't think that's really going to be a question there. And I agree with you. I think the Cubs are for real. Like, that's a very, very complete team. So I think the Cubs beat up on the Phillies, a Phillies team that, again, first of all, I don't really trust them as far as like staying healthy throughout and trying to get healthy at the end. And I also think that's a team that's getting older. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think the Cubs are a team that's kind of up and coming. This is a team that's building something. The Phillies seem like they're a little bit on the way out. So I have a little bit more faith in the Cubs. And then, yeah, I've got the Dodgers winning the NLCS, and I've got Yankees Dodgers in the World Series, a repeat of 2 years ago. So,
I mean, I think your World Series is much more likely to happen than mine, to be clear. But I just didn't feel like I didn't want to say Yankees Dodgers or Blue Jays Dodgers because we just saw those. I want to give people something different to look forward to, and I do think the Cubs could do it. So
who do you have, Dalton Brown, winning the World Series?
If the Blue Jays make it there, that's going to say a lot about where that lineup's at and where that pitching is at. And that Blue Jays team, the realm that they were in when they played the Dodgers in that World Series last year, I don't think there's another team in baseball that wins that series over them besides the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think the Blue Jays were that kind of special in terms of the place they were in as a team. So, the Blue Jays getting there assumes that they're kind of in that same mode, and I don't like I as much as the Cubs are building something there, I'll go Blue Jays.
Yeah. Dodgers for me. Again, until somebody beats them, I'm just not a believer. I think that the way that they're put together, they're the smartest organization in baseball. They're the richest organization in baseball. The best of both worlds in that respect. They buy players like nobody else's business, and they develop players better than anybody in the league. So as far as that's concerned, I just think that they do things better than everybody else. What they did last year was, I think, a little underwhelming. Honestly, like the Dodgers really kind of coasted through the regular season.
Yeah.
They did not put their best foot forward for months going into the year. And I really think that this year it's going to be a little different. Like, it would not surprise me. How many games did the Dodgers win last year? 92?
93, yeah.
They won 93 games last year. It wouldn't surprise me if the Dodgers got 20 games better. Like, it would not surprise me if the Dodgers just said, you know what, let's just dominate the sport and let's go win 115 games. Because that's a team that's 100% capable of doing so. I think the Dodgers are head and shoulders right now above everybody else in baseball as far as roster construction, the way that they do business, everything about it. I just can't pick against them in my right mind. So, yeah. And as disappointing as it may be that I have the Yankees losing to the Dodgers again, I think that's just the realistic possibility that the Dodgers will, claim what is rightfully theirs at this point.
I mean, I certainly hope you're right. And maybe look, I mean, people forget that the Dodgers have added Santiago Espinal and Jack Sawinski, who
it's right. Yeah.
I mean, you better look out. Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But yeah, no, Mike, I mean, look, you're more likely on that to hit than I am. And I hope you do hit, because I would rather lose our little contest here and the Dodgers win the World Series.
I'm sure you would. All right. Let's get to the fun part. Dalton, we're almost 39 minutes in. That gives us about 20 minutes to draft. And who knows, maybe we get out a little early today. We'll see. All right. So the way that we're going to do this, Dalton is going to pick first because I'm a nice guy. And we're going to go back and forth. We're going to be picking teams in Major League Baseball based on what we think their win-loss record is going to be, what teams are going to have the most success, and we're going to tally it up throughout the year. Whoever has the collection of teams that has the most wins will win something at the end of the year. We have yet to decide what that is. Maybe we'll come up with that by the time opening day comes around. But Dalton, you're up first with the let's call it the win it all draft. Let's just say that, the win it all draft. Dalton, you're obviously up first. Let me take a wild guess at who you're taking here, bud.
Yeah, I've already written it. Yeah, you have a pretty good idea. We're going with the Dodgers first overall. Projected win total 102.5 in Vegas. That's 12 more than any other team. Yeah, give me the Dodgers with the first overall pick. And I've got a little team bank written down here, so I'll be crossing out the picks as we go. So if you at any point are like, who's left? I'll walk you through every team that's left.
All right. Give me the Bombers, baby. Give me the Bombers. Second overall pick. Is anybody really surprised at where I think that could go? Listen, I think if all breaks right for the Yankees, I do think that right now they're better than what they were last year. And if they can put together that kind of season and they can stay relatively healthy, especially on the pitching side, I do think the Yankees are capable of winning 100 games. So, listen, not a perfect roster, but I do think as far as the American League is concerned, they're going to be right up there. I'm going to take the Yankees. All right, your turn.
This is
Dodgers,
where it gets
Yankees out of the way.
Yeah, from here on out is where it's going to get really interesting.
Yeah.
I am going to go with the Seattle Mariners. I think in the American League, they're going to have a lot of opportunities to win games. I think their division is theirs for the taking. The pitching is there. The offense is improving. And I think they got a taste of it last year and they want a lot more of it. Give me Seattle as my number 2 pick.
I like that pick a lot. That's probably where I was going if you weren't going to take them. I am going to take – I know I took them as my 3 seed, but I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies. I think that's a division that is more than winnable. You've got teams, I think, that either aren't there yet or are on the decline. So I like the Phillies. I still think that they're capable of winning a lot of games. That's still a very good roster. They're going to hit the hell out of the baseball. They're going to be very good at home. I like the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the teams that would have certainly been in consideration for me. I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs next.
Yep.
You and I just talked about how we feel that the Cubs are a team on the rise. And, I like the division that they're into. I think they're going to win a ton of games in the NL Central.
Yep. It pains me. It pains me to do it. Really does. I kind of wish that we flip-flopped this. Oh, I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays. I think that we could absolutely live in a world where they are the best team in the American League. I think we could absolutely live in a world where what they did last year, what they found last year is legit. So I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays. I think that it could be a little risky because they could fall off, but I'm going to take the Blue Jays. I'm pretty confident that they'll be good again.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were the relatively clear next pick in line there. Mm-hmm. This one might surprise you, okay, but I actually think I'm going to go with the Detroit Tigers next.
I like that.
I think this team learned last year how to win in the regular season, and that's ultimately what we're solving for here, right? We're not looking for a World Series champion. We're just stacking regular season wins.
Yep.
And it's easy to forget that the Tigers had the best record in baseball for a while last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think I like the division they're in. I like their ability to get some wins here.
All right, now it's getting tough. I will go with the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, I'm not super comfortable with it, but they always seem to find a way to win games, surprise everybody. 2 years in a row, they seem better than what people expected. That's where I'm going. They're going to have good pitching. They're a well-managed ball club. Hopefully, if they're having success, they'll buy a little bit at the deadline. I really love the Cubs. I really do, but it would not shock me if the Brewers just kind of did what they did the last 2 years and steal that division as one of the better teams in the National League.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Sorry, so I don't know if you heard, we got a little over a foot of snow yesterday here in the Twin Cities.
That's crazy.
And so we've got snowplows outside, and my dog is not a fan. That's his snow. They're not allowed to touch it, and he's pissed. So that's why you hear him running around barking. But okay, so you took the Brewers. I think that's a good pick. I've been really trying to avoid doing it, but like the Mets still being available at this point is a little wild. So give me the New York Mets. At least if they win and I have to talk about them winning, at least I get to hold it over your head. So give me the Mets.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to feel the same way about this pick. Give me the Boston Red Sox. I don't love it. I obviously hate them with every fiber of my being. But boy, that rotation is really good. Crochet, Suarez, Sonny Gray, Brian Bayo, they can really get some outs. If Roman Anthony turns into a stud and Marcelo Meyer turns into a stud, then they're going to be able to hit a little bit too. Again, I'm kind of stacking American League East teams. I've got some variation here, Dalton. We'll see if this actually works out for me. I'll take the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some thought that needs to be given to if you're taking too many teams from the same division and they're playing a lot of games against each other, that doesn't always work in your favor, right?
Absolutely.
But because you do have 3 teams from that division already. That being said, I'm going to the same division I was just in. I am going to take the Atlanta Braves next. And, this is me just thinking about the ceiling. I think the Braves' ceiling is winning that division. Like, there's a world where everybody bounces back and they win 95 games.
Yep.
So I will bet on that upside, and I will take Atlanta as my 6th pick.
Okay. All right. So now we're kind of getting into like that middle ground a little bit. Give me screw it. Give me the San Diego Padres. I'll take the Padres. I still think that this is a good baseball team. I just think that they're going to take a couple, I think they're bound to take a step back just because of their starting pitching, but I still think they're going to hit. I still think they're going to be competitive. And I think as far as like that division is concerned, like you're going to have the Dodgers are going to be above everybody else, but I think the rest of them are just going to beat the hell out of each other. So I kind of like I kind of like the Padres here.
Yeah. I'm really torn between 2 teams. I'm not going to tell you which 2 teams they are. You're only going to hear the one that I end up picking. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay.
I just, look, they have made some investments in their pitching, and I mean, this is a team that could win this division. Like, I'm not saying it's likely, right? But like, they could. They have a lot of offensive pieces. If a few guys bounce back and the pitching shakes out their way, they could be really good.
Okay. Orioles are gone. We got to see which division ends up like being out first. I have a feeling it's going to be the AL East, but all right. I am going to take. God, I'm feeling I'm taking a lot of teams I hate. I'm going to take the Houston Astros. Look, I think that this is still a team that could. I don't know that they can win the division anymore, but I think they could still sneak into a playoff spot. I think they can make a push. Hunter Brown is a legit number 1 starter. I still think they've got some upside in that rotation with guys like Christian Javier, Tatsuya Imai. They certainly have some guys in that rotation. And listen, if they can put the bat on the ball, if Altuve kind of has a better year than he did last year, same thing with Carlos Correa. Yordan Alvarez is still a monster. I think there's still some upside with the Astros. Again, I'm not in love with them, but I think we're hard-pressed to find teams that we're in love with at this point too, Dalton. But I will take the Houston Astros begrudgingly.
Yeah, they probably would have been my next pick. But for my 8th pick, I'm going to actually stick in that same division. I'll take the Rangers. This is not a team that I'm super high on, but the pitching is very solid. And if they do get some bounce backs from some guys, that is a division where they could make some noise.
Yeah. Similarly to you a couple picks ago, I am torn between 2 teams. I'm going to take the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Ooh, okay.
Again, similar reason to the Padres. I still think they're a decent team. And you're right for what you said before. If Corbin Burns comes back and he's healthy, that rotation's pretty good. They're definitely going to hit, right? When Lourdes Gurriel comes back, and like they're going to be really solid. So I think that's they're still going to be in the hunt for a playoff spot despite how much they sold last year at the deadline.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you did not take the team I wanted here, which is the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, okay.
That Reds rotation is pretty good.
It is very good.
It's good. It's young. I talked about the Reds when we did our Central Division preview. I really thought about giving them a playoff spot as well. So to be able to get them here at the 17th pick?
Yeah.
Give me Cincinnati.
You might shake your head at this for me, but I have them as a playoff team. I'm going to take the Kansas City Royals. I still think that there's like a dark horse chance that they can win the division. Like, I really don't know. Like, I'm not going to say that it's likely by any means, but they're the team I'm most confident in the AL Central to kind of steal some games. Plus the Tigers are the only AL Central team that was taken so far. I still think the Royals have a shot at that division. I'm going to take them.
Yeah. I feel similarly about the Cleveland Guardians, who I'm going to take next.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They can't really hit, but we've seen them do a lot with a little. I think their pitching is going to be at least okay, and there are some young players to be excited there with DeLauder and Bazana and the like.
Yep. Give me the San Francisco Giants. I think the Giants have a scrappiness to them. I think as far as like, obviously there's certainly concerns about their pitching. They're not in a great hitter's ballpark, but I still think they're going to compete. Like I still kind of like the fact that they're, pretty solid defensively on the left side of the infield. I don't know. I like them. I think they're solid. I think they're a solid team. I like them.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're the logical pick there. When you look at what's left, I think they were the clear best option of what's left. That being said, I think a team that is going to be better than people are expecting potentially is the Oakland Athletics or the Las Vegas Athletics or whatever they are. And I am going to be an early adopter there. Give me the A's.
Wow, we're kind of getting into the home stretch now. How many teams we got left? We got nine teams left.
Yep.
Give me the Marlins. I think the Marlins we talked about it when we previewed that division. The Marlins could make the playoffs. Like they're not so far back that we're like picking out of like the Rockies.
Yeah.
Like I think the Marlins are a team that like, I think you're right when you say like, could they be better than the Braves? They could absolutely be better than the Braves. Could they be better than the Mets? They kind of can. Like it's obviously cheap, but it's young. I think they found a lot of pieces last year that work. Obviously, Stowers is great. Augustine Ramirez is a really solid player. Guys like Jacob Marcy, I know they really like. I think there's some life there, and I still think that they're going to pitch as one of the better teams in the National League as far as their starting pitching is concerned. So I'm going to take the Marlins.
I don't mind that. I think that's a decent pick. I am again between two teams here.
I think I know what you're between.
I'm going to go with the team that I think you're more likely to take from me. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, damn it. I was really.
The Rays have done a really good job of like, they don't usually let the bottom fall out. And while I don't love that roster, especially from a pitching perspective, I really don't love that roster. They just find a way to be competitive. And, I think if the Rays if they can eke out 75, 80 wins for me here, I'll feel decent about that at this point in the draft.
Yeah. See, now I'm between two because here's the thing. Like I'm higher on one team and lower on another than you are, and you are the exact opposite of what I am.
Yeah, I mean, you
know exactly what I'm talking about,
and you know which team I want. So I want you to take the one you're higher on, ideally.
Man, screw it. I'll let you have them. I'll take the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll take the Pirates. Listen, I still am a really big fan of their rotation. I think that they're going to be a really solid team when it comes to that. Skeens is obviously unbelievable. Guys like Mitch Keller, if Jared Jones comes back, guys like Bubba Chandler, I still think that there's some upside in that rotation with those arms. So yeah, give me the Pirates. And if they can hit a little bit, if like give O'Neal Cruz some time, guys like Brian Reynolds, Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna, like let them hit a little bit. They're bad defensively, but let them hit.
Yeah, we were thinking of the same teams. I was thinking Twins or Pirates. I was hoping you'd take the Pirates. I'm taking the Twins. And listen, Mike, I love getting I'm getting the Twins here at 25 overall, and there's a non-zero chance they can win that division. I'm not saying it's likely, but like they could. And like, do you feel sure that the Royals are better than the Twins or that the Guardians are better than the Twins? I mean, I don't feel sure of it, right?
No.
I think the Twins are really good value at this point. I think they're easily the best of what was 6 teams remaining. Now there are 5 left.
Now there's 5, and I think you and I can both agree these 5 teams are the definite worst 5 teams in baseball.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that? Like, I think these are the worst 5 teams in baseball. So now I have to pick who I think is going to be the least bad. I think the Angels might be passable. I'm going to take the Angels.
I think that's
And
the right choice.
as much as I hate that choice, I think it's the best of what's available. They're the only team where I'm like, okay, like their lineup is not the end of the world. Their rotation, like they're like you say, Kikuchi's not terrible, right? Like they can get by. You know, if they can win 73 games for me, I think I might take that as a win.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now.
No, I mean that's where we're at in this draft, right?
Yep.
It's between for me, it's between the White Sox and the Cardinals here, and I'm just looking at the teams that I have. I have the Twins, I have the Guardians, but you have the Royals. But yeah, I have three teams
You have the
already.
Tigers. You have 3 AL Central teams.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Cardinals as my 14th pick. I mean, I think they're clearly a better option than Washington or Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure they're a better option than the White Sox, but we'll see.
Yeah, you saying that I was going to take the White Sox even if you didn't take the Cardinals, so I'm going to take the White Sox. I love I love that they made some additions, right? Like they definitely they spent in the bullpen, added Murakami. I think there's a little bit more upside in their lineup now. You know, obviously guys like Chase Mydroth, Colson Montgomery, like they've got some guys with some upside in that lineup. They could spark a few extra wins that they don't deserve. I'll take the White Sox.
And well, between the Nationals and the Rockies, boy oh boy, there is a part of me, Mike, that wants to take the Rockies, but I think I'm gonna stick you with the Rockies, partially because you have the Padres, Giants, and Diamondbacks.
I have everybody in the NL West except the Dodgers.
So I'm going to take the Nationals.
You take the Nationals.
Which leaves you the Rockies.
Which gives me the Rockies. Oh, boy. All right. That gives me the Rockies. All right. So how'd you do, Dalton? What do you think? What do you think of your squad?
I mean, let's read them off. So I have the Dodgers, the Mariners, the Cubs, the Tigers, the Mets, the Braves, the Orioles, the Rangers, the Reds, the Guardians, the Athletics, the Rays, the Twins, the Cardinals, and the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Mike has the Yankees, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, the Red Sox, the Padres, the Astros, Diamondbacks, Royals, Giants, Marlins, Pirates, Angels, White Sox, Rockies.
I like your team better.
I think I'm going to kick your ass, but we'll see.
Oh, boy. I like your team better. I do. But, I mean, you did get to pick first. But I think I like your team better. I'll be honest. I don't think I'm the favorite here.
I mean, I think the fact that I got to take the Dodgers and you had to take the Rockies doesn't help.
It certainly does not help. It certainly does not help. But it's not like the Nationals are that much better.
I was going to say I'll offer you a Nationals for Rockies trade as an act of goodwill.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
that's fine. And to be honest with you, I have faith in the Rockies this year. Willie Castro and
additions.
That's what I'm saying, right? Jose Quintana and Michael Lorenzen, like they are not running it back. Oh boy. And look at that. We're like right on an hour. Right
I thought we were going to be here all night tonight with this too. So we were pretty efficient.
We were unbelievably efficient. Unbelievably efficient. I don't know, man. I think I think I may have I don't know. Maybe not. I actually feel like I did pretty well. Like given the circumstances, I think I did pretty well. But I also think your top 3 are like unbelievably killer. Like you have the Dodgers, the Mariners, and the Cubs. Like those 3 might be the 3 best teams in baseball by the end of the year. So,
yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I felt that I was a little surprised by how early you took the Brewers. That was the pick that probably surprised me most on your side.
Yeah.
I will say, I think getting the Angels where you did, I think they were so clearly the best of those 5 teams. I was concerned, like I was really hoping you'd let them go because I don't think highly of the Angels, but when you look at like the names on that roster and the pedigree of those players versus the Cardinals or the White Sox, the Angels should be better than those teams.
I paused for a second to think about the White Sox, but then I pivoted to the Angels. The Angels are more put together at this very moment than the White Sox are. I really thought you know what, to be honest with you, I was actually kind of surprised that you took the Orioles where you did. Now, again, like I'm not saying that you overpicked. I just didn't. I thought you would have waited a little more on them.
Yeah, I think part of it for me is like I think that it's not an argument that I'm making, but there are people who would make an argument that roster is like has 90 win potential. And when I look at like win totals, for example, projected in Vegas, like they're projecting around 86. That's higher than the Brewers. That's higher than the Rangers. Like, so I don't know.
They could be, the Orioles could be very good offensively. Very, very good. But I just, and that's the thing. Like, I still think they're going to finish in 4th place in the AL East just because I don't think they're going to be able to pitch enough. Like, I just don't think they have the pitching. So I don't know. That's my thing. I really wish the Orioles went harder for pitching in free agency. I really do. Like,
I think I'm pretty sure their fans think the same thing.
They should have gone out and gotten somebody like Framber Valdez. They just should have.
Exact name I was going to say. Yep.
They should have gone out and got Framber Valdez. And even if it wasn't Framber Valdez, go out and you probably couldn't get Dylan Cease because I think the Blue Jays drastically overpaid for Dylan Cease. But like, I don't know. Go and get Zach Gallen. Like, rediscover something in Zach Gallen. I mean, Camden Yards is not necessarily a hitter-friendly ballpark anymore. Like, I don't know. They really should have invested in some pitching, and then they would have had a real shot at this division. Honest to God. So
yeah. I still think they might be pretty good. Like, especially part of it for me is I just think you can bet on bounce backs from guys sometimes. Like, I think it's the same thing I feel with some of the hitters in the Rangers lineup. Like,
so like somebody like Adley Rutschman, like,
yeah.
But even if it doesn't work out with Adley Rutschman, I mean, Samuel Basayo is also right there. They still, it just feels like they still have a bunch of young guys that have like not reached the surface yet. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, Dalton, you said before the show, and I've been looking forward to this all day. You had like a bonkers off the wall.
I mean, it's just so okay.
Mind numbing, I think is the word you said.
If you have DraftKings available, okay, where you live, which I think you do.
I do.
Do you have the app on your phone?
I do.
Okay. Let me just pull something up for you.
Do.
Yeah, give me just a moment. I'm pulling up the baseball reference page of one Freddie Freeman.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to read you his batting averages, okay? Going backward every year from 20 – actually, I'll do it going forward, okay? So I'll start in 2016, and I'm going to go all the way to 2025. And I'm going to read you his batting average every year. Now, his career batting average is 300, okay?
Okay.
These are the batting averages. 302, 307, 309, 295, 341, 300, 325, 331, 282, 295. Okay?
Okay.
What would you put his batting average projection at for this season after hearing those numbers? Just
how old is he?
I think he's 35.
I don't know. I'd probably give him like what would I set the number at?
Yeah.
Maybe like 298, something like that.
I think that's fair. Okay, I want you to pull up in your DraftKings app, and I want you to click batter. I want you to open up the baseball feed, which you should. You see the sports.
I don't know that it's going to let me just because I have terrible service down here. And
okay, well then I'll do it. If you pull up in your DraftKings app and you go to MLB, okay, and you have options across top, opening day, spring training, World Baseball Classic, and all that, right? One of the options says batter futures. If you click batter futures, you'll see some subcategories below that. It'll say home runs, hits, RBIs, and so on. Okay. Scroll over to the far right and you'll see batting average as an option. This is not something I've seen before, but DraftKings is allowing us to bet on the over-under of players' batting averages this year. Freddie Freeman is projected at 279 by DraftKings.
Wow.
That is a number that his batting average has been above 279 for quite literally 10 straight seasons. So unless you think he is going to fall off a cliff from a production standpoint this season, bet the over on that number. It blows my mind. And even if you go before then, right? So 2015, he hit 276. That's the last time he was below that number. 2014, he was 288. 2013, he was 319.
He's a 300 hitter.
He's a 300 career hitter who hasn't been below 280 since
he was a kid.
Since the Obama administration.
Right.
What are we doing with this number? So, I don't think I have to explain it too much further than that. It's a number that doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. When I was in Illinois over the weekend, I put all the money I had left in my DraftKings account on that bet.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems fairly ridiculous, to be honest. I'm actually really stunned at that number.
It's crazy. It makes me wonder if it was a typo and it was supposed to say 297, genuinely. but it's been sitting there for 5 days. Bettable.
All right, so it's okay. So there you go. You have your answer. It's not a mistake. It's just dumb.
Yeah. So there you go.
All righty, that does it for us. That's Dalton Brown. I'm Mike Guido. This is the Bicoastal Baseball Podcast. We will not be back next week, but by the time we are back in a couple of weeks, there will be baseball.
Yep.
And that is something that we can look forward to. All right. Every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern, we'll be right here. See ya.